Anne from Game Like a Mother. I specialize in games that can be played in 20 minutes or less. And today I am sharing my top 5 games for all ages. I am very happy to play little kid games geared for little kids, one-on-one with my children, but sometimes you have a group of adults and you want to play a game for adults, and younger children want to be included, and so you need a game that the adults would be happy playing just on their own. It would work for them, but also kids can successfully play independently as well. So these games work for kids as young as 4, but adults would play them even if no kids were present. So let's get started. First up, we have Llama Dice. This is the follow-up dice version of the very popular Reiner Knizia game, which is Don't Llama, the card game. Well, in this, you have cards in front of you, but you are rolling dice on your turn, and if they match any of the numbers or the llama on your card, you get to get rid of your cards. And you're trying to get rid of all of your cards over the course of the round, or at least just not score very many points, because you're getting these tokens, which are actually worth negative points. The first two, you're collecting negative points over the course of the game, which is kind of weird, but quirky and fun and fits with the game, I guess. And so you're trying to have the least chips when somebody has 40 or more chips. And there's ways in which if you get rid of all of your cards, you get to put a chip back. And so there's a nice ebb and flow of the game, or even if you have a lot of points, there's still opportunities for you to come back because of the different mechanics of the game and how it works. And when you're playing these games with younger children, you quickly find out that they need to have certain attributes in order for younger kids to do as well as adults. And there needs to be public information so that you can help them out the first few times through. Even if they pick up rules very quickly, okay, you rolled this and this, it means you can do this or this. And Don't Llama, the dice game, has that. There needs to be a fair amount of luck. They're not going to make the same be on the same strategic level as older siblings or adults. And there can't be any reading, too much speed or dexterity required. And this game has all of those attributes. And we've had such a blast playing this together as a household or with multiple generations together. And it is amazing to see my 4-year-old daughter fully in it with the adults. She has equal opportunity to win, and we've just had a blast playing this together. So if you find these ones that really fit, you can have some amazing experiences and memories together as a family. Next up, we have Push, which is a really simple but fun push your luck card game in which you're trying to get the most points. And all you do on your turn is you're flipping out cards from a central stack, and you get to put them out into as many as 3 rows out there. And as you're flipping out cards, you can't ever have the same number or the same color be in the same row, otherwise you go bust. So this game, again, all public information, so it's really easy to guide anybody through their first time playing this game, because you can tell them, oh, you have this choice or this choice on this turn. Ooh, if you flip out this or this, then you're gonna go bust. So super quick to get people up and running on this game. And it's fun because there's stuff going on that impacts you even when it's not on your turn. If a player's flipping out cards and they say, okay, I'm good, I don't want to go bust, and they get to pick one of the 3 stacks that they put in front of them, and the number cards are now their points. But then the other 2 stacks that are left, the person next to them gets to pick one, and they get some points, and then the other person gets to pick the remaining one, and they get points. So you're very interested in how the cards are being laid out and what you might potentially get. And the best part of this game is there's a card that has a picture of a die on it, and if that card ends up on a stack that you have to take, you now get to roll what I fondly refer to as the die of doom, because if you roll a color that matches one of the colors of the stacks of cards that you have, if you roll red, then any cards that are red, you have to get rid of all those number cards and discard them, which is making you lose a bunch of points. And there's opportunities to bank cards, So this game feels really, so you could save yourself from that situation if you want to. So this game feels busy and fun. There's a bit going on, but it's all very simple. And it's the type of game that we have played and had a blast with just all adults, all older kids. But my 4-year-old can hang in there and have a blast playing with us too. So it is just perfect. It works for everybody. Next up, we have Skyjo, which is another family level card game with mostly public information, but little kids can do really well at this. But it works for all ages. All you're doing in this game is you're trying to end up with have the least points when somebody gets to 100 or more points. So it can take a few rounds to get to that. And you have 12 cards in front of you. Most are face down. You start with 2 face up at the beginning of each round. And all you're doing is either from the discard pile or the draw stack, you're picking a card that you're going to probably replace one of your cards with each turn. So it's really easy to guide a younger kid through this. They can draw a card and you say, is that a big card or a little card? And it goes from -2 to 12. And so if they're like, ooh, it's a big card, you say, okay, just discard it. You don't have to play it, and then just flip over one of your face down cards. They could totally do that. Or if it's a really little card, you say, okay, good, pick one of your face down cards and replace it with your new card. That's it. That's the game. The only other aspect is if you have 3 of the same number in a column, then you get to discard that whole column. But that isn't horribly complicated, and a 4-year-old can absolutely hang with that level of strategy and rules, especially if they get little reminders along the way. But this is a game that I was playing just with my husband the other night. We wanted to have an easy game night and something fun to play in the kitchen while the kids were around. And then kids kept on hopping in, and we had basically an extra person playing that just was whatever kid wanted to play around with us would get in. And sometimes it was my 11-year-old, then my 8-year-old subbed in one time too, and then the 4-year-old could do it. So I love these games that are truly all ages, and this totally works. Next up, we have Dixit, which is a social game sort of similar to Apples to Apples in concept, except instead of there being a written clue that you put out there and then everybody looks at word cards in their hands and are having to put out words that they think match that clue, you have a bunch of picture cards in your hand. And the person whose turn it is, like the clue person, gets to look at their cards and say, I'm going to pick the word mystery this time, or mysterious. Okay, I'll say mysterious. And I pick this card and I put it face down in the middle of the table, and then all of the other players get to pick one card from their hand that they think maybe is mysterious, and they put it down as well. And then all of the other people have to, when the cards are flipped up, they're put in front of specific numbers, and they have to try to guess, okay, which number do we think that goes with the person that gave the clue? So which one did the clue giver put out there? And as long as you pick little kid friendly vocabulary, young children can do so well at this game. They can figure out which card kind of looks mysterious and why. They know which card they put out there, so they know it's not that. So there's the ones that are left. Ooh, which one are they going to pick? And the only thing that younger kids might have trouble with in this game is the scoring, which isn't horribly complicated, but they just aren't, oh, okay, this time this many people guessed mine and I guessed the correct person, so I get this many points. If you just say, okay, you got this many points and put it on the scoring track, then they're fine. But it's pretty simple, and it's a very popular game. There are a bunch of different versions and expansions out there. There's a Disney version that's coming out in the immediate future. So this is a great one that kids, adults, all ages can enjoy together. And finally, we have Draconic Dice, which I usually don't call any of the games that I talk about filler games, because I think there are a lot of full-fledged games that are short but still have a lot going on. This is a filler game. This is a very fast, quick game that really I generally recommend to people that need a game for like their board game group, to just, while you're waiting for people to show up, have something to like hang out and play that can literally take 1 or 2 minutes, but it's super fun and everybody has a really good time. This is that. This, you're just trying to get rid of all your dice, and you start with either 6 or 5 dice depending on the player count. And you roll your dice, and you either have an injured knight that you get rid of and it's just out for the rest of the round, or you can roll fire, which goes into the middle of everybody, and future players better roll a fire. Otherwise, they're given any fire dice in the middle, which is bad if you're trying to get rid of dice. Or you can roll dragon, which is then you get to give to the player of your choice, which can be very fun. Or you just have a blank side that comes up on your die, and then nothing happens. You just keep those. So this is so quick, so easy to understand, and little kids can do really well at this game, except for having to, depending on how many dice you're rolling, sometimes you end up, somebody rolls a bunch of dragons and they just end up with you, so you could be trying to roll 10 dice at once. That can be a little bit tricky for little hands, but kids love rolling dice, and it's very fun, and it's very clear what your decisions are that you're making. And even the dragons where you're passing dice around, first of all, it's kind of fun to get to roll more dice. So if somebody hands you a bunch of dragons and you get to roll 10 dice once, you're not that upset. And also, there's just so much luck involved. Sometimes you're handed a bunch of dice and it doesn't matter. You just roll all good stuff and get rid of a ton of it. So it's not there. We've played this a lot, and you think there could be hard feelings in a game where you're giving people dice and passing stuff around, and we've only ever had an excellent time. And we've played this, especially because it's so fast. So if you lose, no big deal. Let's just play another game and we'll play until you win. But this is, again, play with adults all the time, but little kids can definitely hang with this and have a blast as well. So that's it for my top 5 games for all ages. It is really just magical to have these experiences that go from your youngest children to older kids and even grandparents, everybody getting to play together. You're just making memories, and especially if the younger kids are able to be independent while playing, they care so much about that, and it can really help the whole experience for everybody. So these games are really precious when you find them. So hopefully you found 1 or 2 you're excited to try out. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time from Game Like a Mother.